4 days to go, you guys. 4 days to go until our baby is born. Well, I guess I could pop earlier. I don't know. I mean, I was just saying to my OBGYN, you know, I am 9 months pregnant, 39 weeks this week. Sorry, I know sometimes I get 1-star reviews, or I have for the past 9 months, because people are like, you breathe too heavy into the microphone. I know. I'm carrying a 7-pounder in here, and I'm 43, okay? It ain't easy, all right? I don't recommend getting pregnant in your 40s. I know some of y'all are doing it. You're glowing. But I'll tell you, behind the scenes, it is rough. The veins are popping everywhere. You're way more out of breath. Honey, you are tired AF like you weren't with baby number 1. 40 is a tipping point. I'll tell you what. Okay? Anyhow. Thursday is my scheduled C-section of this week. I love you all. Send me love. Send me some prayers. I want everything to go well. I don't give a rip what the gender is. I have held out. I have not logged on to my chart and looked up the gender, the NIPT test that happened. Oh my God, at week 10, week 11. Didn't look, loves. So I have no idea if I'm having a boy or a girl. We have a pink onesie set that we're taking to the hospital and a little teddy bear brown onesie set we're taking, and we are ready to rock. That is it. So I always just pray now, like, God, I want the least drama filled, the healthiest delivery at Cedars Sinai on Thursday. That's where I'm having my baby. And I want it to be so uneventful that the doctors and the pediatric team forget that we're there. They're like, oh, Fraser? Oh, shoot, we got to check on her. Is she fine? Yeah. It's all good, actually. I'm that good. So that's it. I can't wait. If I go into labor before, my doctor says that I'll definitely know when my water breaks. Did y'all's water break? I hear it's like a flood. So, or I'll have pain, like lower back pain, cramps. Anyhow, but my OBGYN says, look, I doubt the baby will come early. It's like a jacuzzi in there and you're getting fed. Are you getting out? I'm like, fair enough. And it's true, my son didn't want to come out either, so here we go. Feeling good, finally got the bassinet up, got the changing table up, bought the Baby Breeza. Have any of you used the Baby Breeza? Baby Breeza, if you're not familiar, is it actually mixes the formula for you, mixes the formula for you. I think this set was like $400, close to $500. Excuse me, sorry, I have like horrible acid reflux. I'm burping all the time. I get 1 stars for that too. The burping. You try being pregnant at 43. Okay? Okay? Yeah. All right. My digestive system is acting like it's 80. So anyhow, back to the Baby Breeza. We'll see if this thing works. We did a dry run and I'm planning to breastfeed. I didn't have a ton of luck breastfeeding with KJ, but sometimes people say the second time around's even more. So I'm going to give it my all, but I'm also formula ready in case. So the Baby Breeza will warm up the formula, and then it has a cleaning station as well. This thing better be a miracle. I hear it's really good. So we did get that at our little baby shower, so I was so grateful for that. But yeah, it's happening. I'm so on my knees, grateful to God, so happy. Someone was asking me to do an egg donor video. I will completely do egg donor video. If you guys need any information, you can always hit me up, but I highly recommend using an egg donor. I don't think I would have been able to conceive. I know I wouldn't have. I had 3 miscarriages from 40 until 42. So I know I would not have been able to conceive that baby naturally. It wasn't in the cards for me. I am, look, I could do like 100 shows on science and vaccines and everything. I mean, the discussions are so fascinating, but I'll tell you this. When science says that women, your eggs really diminish over 35, I'm that study. I'm the truth. None of mine were healthy. All had major chromosomal issues, despite the fact Shmano and I could get pregnant in a heartbeat. Couldn't keep it. Egg trouble ahead. So there's that. All right, let's move on because I know you're here for a lot of pop culture. There's a ton going on in the sister wives world. First and foremost, Janelle is loving her Tata Farms journey. Her farm is growing like crazy, and she's also dropping a bit of advice over the weekend. We have Welcome to Plathville Tea. You know, that is one of my favorite reality television shows. I think everybody's familiar, but if you're checking out my podcast for the first time and you're like, what is Welcome to Plathville? It's on TLC. It's about a religious family. They had 11 kids, and Kim and Barry Plath were the patriarch and matriarch, the parents. First couple of seasons, they were all about religion, and they never let their kids have a Coca-Cola. They never taught their kids about having a menstrual cycle. Honey, these kids, they went to like a CVS for the first time. They never even knew what a tampon was. They actually thought it was there to plug a sink. They had no clue. Never had an alcoholic drink. And slowly, as they have been on reality TV, the whole family has just imploded. I'm talking strip clubs, divorces. The parents are divorced. Kim was arrested for a DUI. Sweetheart, we have taken a left like you wouldn't believe. Anyhow, we have some tea about them. Ethan and Olivia Plath, they're going on 3 years of not getting divorced, but there was a big update this week with Olivia and Ethan. So we'll discuss. But let's get into Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace, and I have to do a correction for the America's Next Top Model reality check documentary. If you haven't watched it, oh my God. I started out watching it. There's 3 episodes. I'm going to talk Nancy Guthrie before I get into how bad it is. But the first episode, I was like, this is not bad. Like, it was the early aughts. It was the, teen aughts, 2010, 11. I'm like, shows. Everybody was much more like toxic then. People were fine with like doing American Idol, right? Where Simon Cowell would come out. I used this as an example last week, would come out and say negative things. But everybody was cool with that. You could be mean to people on reality TV. Jackass was popular. Oh my God. Episodes 2 and 3 of this S show, this reality check, this dumpster fire. Tyra Banks should be in jail. I'll leave you with that. Let's move on to Nancy Grace. I'm completely fascinated still by Nancy Grace. Why do I keep saying Nancy Grace? Nancy Guthrie. Okay, my pregnancy brain. Oh my God, Sarah. Nancy Guthrie. Where the hell? How do we lose an 84-year-old woman? How? I'm going to be honest. My show, I think because I've worked in news, I try to be less critical of the family. Not very critical of the family, not very critical of the police, because a lot of times we as the public are not privy to a lot that's going on behind the scenes, right? So I think it's hard to jump to conclusions. There are 2 things that I feel like I'm changing the tide on slightly. Number 1 is Sheriff Nanos, to me, I think is so problematic. And over the weekend, a couple of things happened. First of all, now it's being reported by other law enforcement that it is highly unusual how Sheriff Nanos is handling this case. Okay. Apparently, according to a New York Post story over the weekend, Nanos has now locked down the probe. The probe is like who's actually getting information, who's reporting information, and making the decision makers only himself and 2 senior detectives. According to other law enforcement officials familiar with this case, with the sheriff's department, and with how local sheriffs or local police departments handle high-profile cases, this is extremely, extremely strange, okay? Meaning those 3 are apparently the only 3 talking, the only 3 sharing information, which is not usually how it goes. According to one law enforcement official, usually your entire team is on it. You're having strategy meetings. People are bringing in like what they have, any credible tips. The sheriff is ultimately making the decisions like, okay, you're going to handle this. You're going to follow up on that. But to only have 3 people in those meetings making those decisions is extremely strange. We're also hearing over the weekend, which is not a shocker, that Nanos is keeping a lot of information from the FBI. I really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but this man, I feel so horrible for the Guthrie family. This man seems like he has hindered, and not only hindered, but blundered this entire investigation over and over. The other thing, I hope you're sitting down. Are you sitting all the way down for this? Nanos told reporters over the weekend that the DNA could now take a year, up to a year, to get results because there were problems with the DNA. meaning there's mixed DNA. So they have samples, they know Nancy's on it, but then it's mixed with other things. They have not a lot of clean DNA swabs. Now to unravel that and properly test it and properly get the results could take up to a year. Okay. I feel like at this point, I think he's trying to buy time. I do. I think he's trying to buy time, and he's trying to, in fact, drag this out to get the press out of there, get the heat off him, and then he can sort of try to put together the pieces that he effed up. Truly, I really do. Because the other thing that is now coming out as problematic is why Nanos is sending these DNA samples to a private lab in Florida instead of a lab in Arizona. Why? Nobody really knows the clear answer on this. Again, unusual. Also, a couple over the weekend. Now, Nanos has told people, no, we're not doing searches. This is where where Savannah Guthrie, Annie, her sister, her family has gotten criticism, is like, why are they not out looking for their mother? Why are they not holding more press conferences, them speaking out? Why are they not putting out more videos? Why have they gone quiet? We don't see them. We don't hear from them. They're not searching. To me, Savannah Guthrie seems like just a credible person. I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. Aside from, it has to be high up, well credited FBI investigators, a private investigator. Somebody must be telling them, do this. Like, back off, get out of, don't do this. If you keep doing this, you're going to attract these fake ransom notes. I would think, I find Savannah to be credible as a person who desperately wants her mother found and misses her mother. But a lot of people are criticizing that, and they're seeming to get more heat as we enter week 4. Now, a couple found a pair, and Nanos has shut down any independent search parties without a permit. Why are you asking the public for help and then hindering the public when they're trying to help? I also think now that the 911, don't call 911 with your theories and opinions. I almost wonder if that's a lot of Nanos. Like, we don't really know if that's like how much of that is true. Maybe that's Nanos just, again, wanting heat off of him, wanting the press out, wanting this to die down so he can try to cover his tracks. But a couple doing an independent search around the Nancy Guthrie missing home area found a pair of blood-stained gloves and a rock with dried blood droplets in it in the desert, 1 mile from Nancy Guthrie's home, that was turned over to authorities. In addition to that, we don't know what authorities are doing with that. We don't know anything beyond, but there you have it. And lastly, in this case, a lot of people have said to me, Sarah, are you aware of the fact that the Pima County Sheriff's Department is involved in a reality TV show? And how do you feel about that? So they are in a reality television show, the Sheriff's Department. The officers under Pima County, Chris Nanos, are featured in A&E reality series Desert Law. And the Hollywood Reporter was the first to put this out there. The TV series follows the county deputies as they go on real calls and follow actual cases. A description of the show on A&E reads, when the blistering Arizona sun finally sets over Tucson, the temperature drops and the crime rises. With elite access to one of the largest sheriff's departments in America, Desert Law follows the high-intensity work of the county sheriff's department, its patrol deputies, DUI unit, and night detectives. Desert Law's first episode, following the Pima County deputies, was aptly titled Welcome to Pima County. Came out just weeks before their department would be at the center of a national media storm over Guthrie's disappearance. In the episode, the deputies describe Arizona's loosey gun laws and said about 56% of state residents own a firearm. They also call it the Wild West. 2 cameras. Cameras capture crime within the 9,000 square miles of rugged terrain in southwest Arizona, which includes the Catalina foothills, where Nancy lived. One of the deputies featured in the episode describes Nancy's affluent neighborhood as the Wild West due to its large party scene where a lot of people are out drinking alcohol throughout the night. Oh, dang. What a neighborhood. That sounds like fun. My neighbors are kind of quiet and a little boring. One of the deputies in the show said eerily, people can go out into the desert and completely disappear. Desert terrain is extremely difficult, he said, to find people and cover. Desert law. Now, Sheriff Nanos does not appear on camera, but works closely with producers and is credited as a consultant. So again, a lot of people felt like, is he doing this? Is he blundering, messing up this entire thing? Does it have to do with the TV show? Well, he is not on it. He's a consultant, but you're not going to actually see him. All right, before we move on to America's Next Top Model, I do want to tell you, while I'm giving birth, if you've always thought about starting a podcast, this is your week. GoBigPodcasting.com are my podcasting courses. I have been talking to so many of you. Shout out to Matthew and his mom who hopefully become clients, and they have a mother-son podcast. I get inquiries from you guys, new listeners, old listeners, friends of friends who have podcasts. But if you have an existing podcast or you want to start one, Go Big Podcasting is the premier site to teach you how to launch, monetize, and grow your show. The old tricks that you've probably heard, just get big name guests and people are going to flock to your show. It doesn't work. In fact, a lot of times the guests actually get fewer downloads than you sharing your point of view. So if you've got a podcast, it hasn't quite made money, hasn't caught on the way that you want, my Podcasting for Pros or my 6-Figure Master Plan are both courses that could help you tremendously. And I'm offering 20% off all of my courses throughout the month of February as well. The discount code is NY20. GoBigPodcasting.com. You can learn to start a podcast for less than $9 with my Podcasting 101 and the promo code NY20. So absolutely look into that. Love you all. GoBigPodcasting.com. America's Next Top Model reality check on Bravo, on Netflix. Oh my God. The pregnancy brain. On Netflix is wild. Wild. Tyra Banks should be in jail. Tyra Banks is a narcissistic whack job in this 3-part series. Okay. I actually think everybody should be in jail. I really do. Everybody on that show. The other guy who was the producer guy that they interview? Oh my God. He's such a nightmare on the show too. Let's look. Producer of America's Next Top Model. He should be on Ken Mock. That's what I was looking for. Ken Mock in jail. I would lock your ass up. He was so bad what they did. I couldn't believe it. Again, first episode, I owe you guys an apology because I started reviewing this last week when I saw episode 1 and I was like, I don't know, all right. That was the time, like they bullied the women about being fat. They talked about their weight. By the time you get into episodes 2 and 3, first of all, there was a sexual assault with Shandy, who I'd completely forgotten about on the show, that they edited and covered up to make it look like she cheated on her boyfriend when she was in fact sexually assaulted and basically drugged by an Italian model. Let's see. They had 2 women they brought to the dentist at midnight. This shady ass New York dentist had teeth pulled out of their mouths, like under just like some laughing gas, to make them more attractive, ripped teeth, fixed a gap. This is all these girls are like 19 years old, okay? Being pressured, told you will never work in this industry. By the way, winning this show was like the kiss of death to their careers anyhow, because at the time, people thought reality shows were just trash. So their careers all bombed anyhow, but they'd had major tooth surgery by this guy who was performing, root canals and ripping teeth out at 1 a.m. I mean, it was so horrific, these women describing it. On top of that, they did a murder, a staged murder next top model shoot. And one of the girls, her mother was completely paralyzed from a domestic violence incident of her boyfriend at the time shooting her. And they were like, you know what? We're going to have your blood splattered on that wall. If you could look like you just had your brain shot out. What the Ken and Tyra should be in jail. Okay, I worked, you guys know this if you followed the show a long time. I worked in radio for many years for iHeartRadio on a show called The Kane Show. It was a huge show in DC, syndicated across the country. Kane was very toxic. May he rest in peace. It's been 5 years. He died of complications of like mixing Xanax and alcohol and drugs. He aspirated. It was horrific. Okay. He was extremely toxic as a person, unfortunately. And he was an addict, an untreated addict, untreated OCD, untreated probably depression, the whole thing. Even working for them, for iHeart and that toxic work environment, like nobody did the shit that happened on America's Next Top Model. And the couple of times that things went really bad when the bullying was so horrific, everybody knew it was wrong. Like everyone admitted it was wrong. Everybody knew it was wrong. Like I think back then, the biggest mistake I made is I never went to like an employment attorney and started documenting everything and then brought it to our bosses. I just didn't have I didn't have any wherewithal to do that. We thought it was normal to have keys thrown at us and trash cans and Peter Kane threatening us with a baseball bat. But everybody knew it was wrong. My issue with this documentary is they act like, it was the times. Like, it was the time. Yeah, in hindsight, Ken's like, oh, yeah, Ken Mock, the producer's like, yeah, I own that one about the staged murder scene. You guys, half of the judges on this show, the judges in Tyra Banks, then they did a blackface. I can't even believe. Like, Tyra Banks is a woman of color. They did a blackface where they like tanned them, had them like basically in blackface makeup a bit. Oh my God. It's like, I think they're maniacal. I don't think that anybody on that documentary is actually sorry for anything that happened. I think they loved every minute of it. They thought that they were torturing these girls to help them. Tyra made all kinds of promises, which weren't even on the documentary, but top model contestants have come out and said, like, Tyra promised us contracts and other gifts, completely lied about it, would reshoot. Adrienne Curry, you should follow her Instagram. She was a top model winner. Talks about all the deceitful things that Tyra did. That bitch should be in jail. So should Ken Mock. Absolute mother effers. Tyra cut all the contestants or the judges off. The only one she speaks to a little bit, Jay Manuel, she like never spoke to again. Miss J Alexander, she never spoke to again. Miss J had a full stroke. Now his friends are raising money for him. She's never come to visit. I'm telling you what. That bitch is nuts. She looks so bad in this documentary. Don't even get me started. You know, I'm not going to go there with her looks because that's the whole point of this documentary is like they tore these women down with their looks and they said, oh, you know, we're going to empower you and get you used to this industry and open doors for you. Well, they did nothing but mentally F with people. I don't even, you know what, honestly, Nigel Barker, none of them actually seemed that. I wasn't impressed by anybody. I'm going to be honest. Not even Jay Manuel. I don't think they really got it. I think they were like, I would be effing mortified. So I'm sure like some of the stuff on the Kane Show, if they played back, which I think those shows are in archive now. I don't even think we'll get them. I mean, we did a few things I'd be like, holy shit. But I feel like we knew at the time, like we had a moral compass. This show lacked any moral compass. It's such trash. It's such garbage. Go watch. There's my review. Such garbage. Okay, we have to talk Welcome to Plathville. Oh my God, I should have started with Welcome to Plathville. Janelle from Sister Wives. Okay, first of all, shout out to Lydia Plath. Lydia Plath and Zach Weiss celebrated 1 year of marriage. Can you believe it? They lasted 1 year through the gay rumors, honey. You know Zach Weiss. Whew, poor Zach. He's been through the ringer. The entire 7th season of Welcome to Plathville was all about Ethan and Micah. That's rich coming from Micah. Basically saying to Zach, are you gay? We don't want you to marry our sister because we think you're gay. Well, so far that man has stayed straight. Lydia and Zach have done podcasts. They say they bone all the time. And they have celebrated 1 year. So congratulations. We're ready to see it on season 8, which is filming. They are not preggers. Lydia teased like this whole baby and like this whole like, oh, I have great Valentine's Day news. Everyone was like, girl, you're preggers. Nope. I think it was, what was it? Oh, they're looking for homes. They're going to buy a house somewhere in Georgia. I love this show. And Lydia Plath apparently becoming a influencer. So I'm here for it. Then the other thing that happened last week, shout out to Starcasm. I love my Starcasm, is Ethan Plath has now filed for divorce from Olivia. How is this possible? How is this possible when Ethan Plath filed for divorce 2 years after Olivia? I think it's possible because he filed a petition to dissolution of marriage in Minnesota on Friday. The new filing comes almost 2 years after Olivia originally filed for divorce and more than 7 years after Ethan and Olivia were married in October of 2018. The young couple listed their date of separation as February 25th, 2023 in their previous filings. That means they are approaching 3 years of separation. In 2024, due to unaddressed deficiencies in the filing, they were not able to really move forward with the divorce. Those deficiencies included the section about spousal maintenance, in addition to the sections asking for information about bank accounts, assets, or liabilities. So why is their divorce taking so long? Now, Olivia Plath has been on this podcast and talked openly about why her divorce with Ethan is taking so long. He blocked me for a year after filling out paperwork incorrectly. This is what she said last June. More from Olivia in the divorce process with Ethan. In that time, I moved twice and have become a resident of an entire new state. You have to live there 6 months before being served divorce papers. Before I hit 6 months in DC, he unblocked me and requested to expedite the divorce process. I told him to wait a few months until after tax season so I could get all my financial ducks in a row. He gave her an extremely hard time. And so we will see. But a lot of people said to me, how can he file for divorce again when she did? I think basically now he's probably filing maybe to push it forward, because when she was on this podcast, I have to be honest, she kind of basically admitted out of spite, she was like not communicating with his lawyer and just going to wait and see. So it sounds like maybe he's put his own petition in, which maybe you can do to add on to an existing divorce. You all tell me. I know some of you have been divorced and you know the whole situation. We're going to end the episode today with some sister wives tea. Janelle is opening up about rebuilding her life. In a powerful statement, Janelle Brown, after getting a ton of hate on season 20, has admitted that starting over isn't easy. Ooh, is that a cry for Cody? Come save me, Cody. Grody, I still want you here in North Carolina. Look, I'm going to be honest. You know those two hit it after that apology because she was eating that up. Janelle is letting her fans and friends know that they're not alone. She recently shared a social media post about the transitional period that everyone experiences at one time or another. The sentiment was so strong that her words really resonated with fans. In the post, Janelle wrote, "Rebuilding your life is quiet work." She added, "It doesn't come with applause or big announcements. It's usually happening in between moments, the pauses, the deep breaths, the small choices that don't look like much until one day they add up to something solid. I used to think I needed to rush through this part. Like if I could just get past the messy middle faster, everything would be better. But what I'm learning is that this space is where the real healing happens, the slowing down, the listening, the rebuilding from the inside out. There were days when rest felt wrong, when wanting more felt ungrateful, when growth felt lonely enough to question if I was even moving in the right direction. Ooh, you could move right back into the new McMansion if you wanted. But now I can see that all of it was necessary, especially the parts that felt uncomfortable. She then concluded by saying, so if you're in that place right now where nothing feels finished, but nothing feels broken either, log on to my website and you can book me for a motivational 1 hour. No, I'm kidding. She said, keep going. Look, I love to hawk a course, as you guys know. But Janelle is, she's also a life coach. Mary, they get a lot of shit for that. But I'm going to be honest. I actually think, wouldn't you rather take some advice from someone who's lived through polygamy marriage on TV? Now, most of the kids hate them. They hate their ex-husband. I don't know. You know what I mean? She's got some wisdom. You don't want to take advice from somebody that's had a smooth life. What are they going to teach you? But Janelle, she's lived through some crap. Now she's being hated by most of the internet and Sister Wives fandom. And still she has slots open for coaching. That's my bitch. All right, on that note. Love you all. Look, we're on baby watch. We're going to be doing live podcasts, updates, brand new shows, unbelievable guests like David Yontif, Candace Dillard-Bassett from Traders this week is on the show, Kendra from Suddenly Amish joining. Don't miss a thing. Subscribe to the TSFS podcast everywhere you get your pods and leave me a review. Hit 5 stars. Tell me what you love about the show. Bye, everybody.